Okay guys, here's the metric to imperial or imperial to metric, whichever way it's asking for the conversion. Now, this is pretty rare, I guess, except for when you really need to. And again, you can go to your phone and pump this in, but it's not about that. It's about, can you do it, or do you understand what is actually going on when this occurs? So, like I said in the last video, this is very similar to just imperial conversions. So again, you got to kind of find your way to it. But the one thing that I always try to keep in the back of my head is that I want to try to either stay in metric as long as possible, or to get over to the metric system as quickly as possible, depending on which way I'm going. So you'll see as I go through this, sometimes I'll even say, well, just get into the unit you need to and then do the math. But we'll see. I hope you understand kind of what I'm trying to get to here. So this question, the first question says, we want to go from 4.7 meters into inches. So I'm going to quickly look at the conversion sheet, and we'll talk about this for a second. And here's the section where it's metric to imperial, but you're going to use all the sections that you need to. If I'm in imperial system, I'm just going to use the imperial system. But if I'm in the metric system, I'm going to use usually the metric scale, right? I'm not going to use this section here very often. I just have it there because some people like to do that stoichiometry method. But the most common one you're going to use is this. This is the most important one, okay? So when we go back to that question, I need to go from meters into inches. So I got to figure out, how am I going to get into inches? And I can see right here, centimeters into inches. So again, like I said, if I can stay in metric as long as possible, and then at the last instant switch over into inches, that's cool. Now the other thing I got to say about this conversion sheet is it's a lot of estimates and stuff. Like we wouldn't generally talk and say 1 inch is 2.54. I'm good with saying 1 inch is 2.5 centimeters. Just like 1 mile, we could say 1 mile is 1.5 kilometers, because really it's used as an estimate, so to speak. Just like this one here I circled in green, 1 liter. If we said it's 4 cups, nobody's going to get their feathers ruffled. 1 cup, well, I've got 250 milliliters because, of course, we say that 1 liter is 4 cups. Well, 1 cup isn't actually 250 milliliters. It's more like 240 milliliters or something like that. But again, we just use this so that we can go and apply some of the math to it, okay? So if you put it in your phone and you go and convert it, you're going to get different answers than you actually do if you show me the math using this table. So again, I want you to use this table, and I want to see the work that goes into it, okay? So we'll go back and we'll finish this question, and we'll go on to a couple other ones. So meters into inches. Again, we seen that over there, it said that 1 inch was equal to 2.54 centimeters is what it said. As you can see, 2.54 centimeters. So in this question, I'm going to keep it in metric as long as possible. So using the scale, I'm going to go from meters, 2 decimal moves over to centimeters. So 4.7 meters. I'm going to move the decimal 2 times to get it into centimeters. So that's 470 centimeters. Now I can do the conversion from centimeters into inches the way that we were taught in the last video. So here it goes. 470 centimeters times whatever unit I want to get rid of, which is centimeters. That's 2.5. I don't care if you say 2.5 or 2.54. Centimeters is in 1 inch. Again, centimeters cancels, and you can see that I'm now in inches. you go and you throw that straight into your calculator, 470 divided by 2.54. That'll be how many inches it is. And we get an answer of 185.0, I guess if you went to 2 decimals, 0.04 inches. So there's how many inches are in 4.7 meters. Okay, so let's go look at another example here. We got 38 pounds into grams. So again, I like to try to get into the metric system as quickly as possible so that I can just move decimal places. And flashback, on this one, I stayed in the metric system first as long as I could until I could get that direct conversion. So I went from meters right here into centimeters, and then that led me to a direct conversion. So in this case, however, I want to get out of the imperial system. So 38 pounds. And if I look, I'm going to try to get out of pounds into something. Well, what does it say here? We've got 2.2 pounds is 1 kilogram. So I'm getting out of pounds right now. I got 2.2 pounds is 1 kilogram. That gets rid of my pounds, and I'm now in kilograms. So when I put 38 divided by 2.2 into my calculator, I get an answer of 17.3, let's go with 3 kilograms. So that's how many kilograms are in 38 pounds. Now that I'm in the metric system, all I have to use is the scale and get from kilograms into grams, which is a base unit. So back to my scale. I'm going to erase this so I can kind of see it all. So I'm in kilograms, and I want to get over into grams, which is 3 decimal moves to the right. So 3 decimal moves to the right, and I'm just going to count it out here. 17, and now 3 is 1, 2, 3 decimal moves to the right. So that's how many grams are in 38 pounds. Okay? So you can see it's kind of a mix of the two systems where we use the imperial kind of method, the stoichiometry method, to flip back and forth between the two systems, and then once we're in metric, we just use the scale. There's other ways to do it, okay? But this is kind of the math that I would like to see you do. So let's go from cups to milliliters. Let's look at our scale real quick, or our stuff here, and I can see we've got a direct conversion right here. Now the reason I'm doing this example is I think sometimes you get a recipe like baking where you don't want to mess up more measuring spoons and stuff like that, so you'll get a quarter cup in a recipe and you'll think, okay, well, I've got a tablespoon, and the tablespoon's 15 milliliters. Well, how many tablespoons can I use? It's something like that that'll pop up in your later in life, and the real application, you'll go, oh man, I remember learning about this. So I'm going to get out of cups directly into milliliters. So I'll go 0.25 cups. I want to get out of those cups into milliliters. And in our conversion table, we saw that 1 cup. 1 cup was 250 milliliters. Now that's an estimate, because like I said earlier, it's really like 242, but we don't sweat that too much. We go and do that math, okay? And we get an answer of 62.5 milliliters. Now there again, maybe you've got your measuring spoons are in milliliters. Your tablespoon says 15 milliliters. So now you go, oh, I'll divide that by 15 milliliters, and you find out you got 4 tablespoons or something like that. But that's a whole nother level. And this stuff comes easier the more you use it, right? The more you bake, the more you measure things. If you used it at work, stuff like that, this will become second nature. But there's the conversions, guys. If you can do those conversions and even attempt some of them, you're going to need help with lots of them. Even just finding the what I call the roadmap, getting from unit to unit and stuff like that in here. Sometimes that takes a little bit of getting used to it. Remember, it's about the math, not the answer in this case, okay? So try your best. Let me see what you got.